Hi, it's Penny here, and today we're going to be putting together my TBR for the month of April, which is also the month of the Magical Readathon. So I'll be trying to match the books I'm reading to the Magical Readathon prompts, but as well, I'm going to be using my TBR machine website that I made that spits out random reading prompts, and as well as I have been doing lately, I'll be trying to do a realistic TBR where I pick one audiobook and one physical book for each week of the month. And the thing is, in March, well actually in February, but continuing on into March, I've been behind on my realistic reading plans. So actually I'm going to fill the first week of April with the books that I was hoping to read at the end of March. So physically I'll be reading A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Parry. This is a New Zealand author, and this is this really cool fantasy series that I've tried the first chapter of, and basically we have a world where only nobles are allowed to do magic, and whenever commoners do magic they're enslaved, and we're following kind of, I think, some younger people who are enslaved, as well as some kind of young men who are really trying to change the law, and they're really passionate about justice. I really liked the first chapter I tried, so I'm hoping I'm going to love this. Oh, and for the Magical Readathon, I'm going to use this for spells and incantations, where we're learning the spell copy-paste. So you need to read a book where there's a word in it from your last book title. The last book I'll be reading in March, and the one that I'm currently reading, is Heir of Novron. I've just gone for the of because it's easy. So this has of in the title as well. Oh, and I should say, for the Magical Readathon, I'm attempting the Alchemy qualification, which means I need to do 10 prompts, which, since I normally only pick 8 books for my TBR, is a little bit of a problem, but I have a plan. Hopefully, the TBR machine will play along with my plan. The other book, though, that I do need to put in at the beginning of April is The Will of the Many. So I'm going to be reading this on audiobook. This is a very hyped series at the moment. I think the sequel is coming out soon, so I would like to get to this to see whether I love it. It's a world where the magic is based on hierarchy, so like the higher you are up the hierarchy, the more power you have, and people at the lower levels kind of like cede their power to you, I think. And we're following this guy who, for whatever reason, is kind of in hiding, but is going to end up at some kind of magical school. I also tried the first chapter of this and really liked it, so I'm very optimistic about this one. And this one I'll be using for restoration, where we're doing uncommon antidotes and you need to read a book with a 4+ average rating, for which this is so hyped that it meets the requirement. Okay, so to fill the rest of the spots on my TBR, we're going to be using my TBR machine website. Let me just pull it up on my phone. So I have actually already looked at the Magical Readathon prompts, and I have a pretty good idea of what books I'd like to get on the TBR, but it just depends if the TBR machine prompts are going to make that easy or not. I'm totally willing to cheat and hack prompts wherever I have to. So the first prompt is going to be, okay, I got read a book that has a number in the title, which doesn't fit for any of the other books I want to put on this. What I'm going to do is just count Will of the Many, and I'm going to count many as a number. It's a cheat. I don't care. Let's try another prompt, and hopefully it'll be something that works better for me. Okay, this one. We can do this one. Read a book recommended by a friend. What I'm going to do is go with The Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. So this is the first book in the Legends of the First Empire, but it's part of the bigger Rhyria world that Michael J. Sullivan has that I have been reading my way through, kind of as part of Joshana's readathon, but also I've been going a little bit rogue and reading them in a different order than her. But I have really loved the first trilogy that I read, and I'm excited to get into this one because it kind of goes back into the history of the world, I think. And I think there's like elves and all sorts of cool fantasy stuff. Honestly, I've been kind of avoiding synopsises for these because I didn't want to spoil the other trilogy for myself, but I know Joshana loves it, so we'll count it as recommended by a friend for that. But also, the Magical Readathon prompt. For animal studies, we are doing raccoon studies, where you need to steal a book from another TBR. Now, I know it's kind of meant to be someone else's Magical Readathon TBR. Whatever. I'm going to steal this from Joshana's January TBR because she read this book in January. Prompt complete. Let's pick the second prompt. Read a book with red on the cover. I've just remembered that there's a Magical Readathon prompt, which is to pick a color wheel one. Wouldn't it be cool if I could get red on that. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be perfect? Okay, I found a little web color picker. So let's see what color it will give me. Purple. Purple. That's not red, but I can maybe make it work. However, I have another magical readathon problem we need to sort out. So what I would like to do is read Translation State by Anne Leckie. This is the last book I think I need to read in the Imperial Raj universe. The original trilogy in this world is about like this AI spaceship that kind of is inhabiting the bodies of many people, but then through certain events finds themselves now just stuck in the body of one person and is kind of like enacting revenge for what happened there. But this is like a spin-off that it looks like it's going to focus on kind of these translators that are kind of like humans but not really humans that communicate between the aliens and the humans. And all the translators we got in the original trilogy I really love, so I'm hoping to love this. And there's red on the cover, so that'll match for this. But also for Inscription, we need to read the first sentence of 3 books and pick one from that, and this was one of my candidates I was thinking of having for that. So let me read the first sentence of this and then the first sentence of the other 2 books we want to fit in, and we'll see. The first sentence of this says, "The last stragglers in the funeral procession were barely out the ghost door before the mason bots unfolded their long legs and reached for the pile of stones they removed from the wall so painstakingly the day before." Honestly, not necessarily the best first sentence, so I'm not sure this is going to count for that prompt. The other one I was considering for that prompt, and then if I pick this, I would have to pick it, or I have to find a prompt for the TBR machine. Is this getting far too complicated? Yes. Let's just read the first chapter of this and see if I like it. "There were 256 places where a man could hide within his own flesh." I mean, that's a better first sentence. It's weird, but maybe. I have just remembered the other one I wanted to try is a book that I've ordered. It says it's coming, expected delivery date on the 19th of March. It is currently the 29th of March, but I'm hoping it'll still come in April. New Zealand delivery is bad, slow, but it should still come in April, I hope. But let me look up the first sentence online. The book I'm talking about is The Martian Contingency, which is the 4th and final book in the Lady Astronaut series. Where do I start this first sentence? Because I think this is starting with like kind of like a little excerpt from a newspaper. "Duke Ellington has been commissioned to compose and perform an original score to celebrate man's return to Mars. The Ellington composition takes about 10 minutes to perform and includes vocal music entitled Mars Maid, to be sung by Ella Fitzgerald." But I don't think that really counts as the first sentence. I think the first sentence is, "Do you remember where you were when the stars came out?" Do you know, I think I like the first sentence of this the most, so we're going to count this for that magical readathon prompt. And then, don't worry, I have a plan for this one and the magical readathon still. Let me look it up. Oh, so for Alchemy class, we're doing volume magnification, and the prompt is to read a book with all capitals in the book title. Ta-da! So that'll cover me for Alchemy. Oh, and I've just remembered I've still got to find a purple book. We'll worry about that later. Let's do the next prompt for the TBR machine. So read a thriller book. Oh, I can do it. Okay, so one of the books I wanted to read for the magical readathon is The Wrong Woman by J.P. Pomare. I don't remember the plot except that someone is missing and we're trying to find them. And that is the point of one of these magical readathon prompts. Demonology. We're doing banishing basics and we need a book with a missing person. So The Wrong Woman will count. J.P. Pomare is a New Zealand author who writes thrillers that I usually love. So I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, let's pick the 4th prompt. We have, read the next book in a series you have started but not finished, The Shadowed Sun. So this is the one that I was doing for that first sentence challenge. This is the 2nd book in the Dream Blood duology. So in this world, there are these priests who can like draw dream blood from people, which can then be used to like heal people and do other magic. But one like kind of controversial thing they do is that when people are ready to die, or if the priesthood decides that they're too corrupt to really be worthy to keep living, they will kill these people and draw their dream blood from them. I don't really know what happens in the second book because I felt like the first book wrapped a lot of things up, and I kind of don't want to spoil myself. I just want to go into it and see what happens. But I'll be listening to this one on audiobook. So this is where we're at with the reading plan so far. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to fit the Martian contingency in after all. Anyway, let's do, this must be the 5th prompt. Okay, I got read a book released 10 or more years ago. I would like to pick this book, but I don't actually know when it was released. So let's just see. I think, 2011, that is long enough ago. So this is another E.K. Jemisin book that I'm hoping to get to. It's the 3rd and final book in the Inheritance trilogy, which is kind of about this world where there were 3 gods. One of the gods killed another one of the gods and then gave the 3rd god to these humans as kind of like a slave. I'm currently reading the 2nd book, where things have changed a lot with that setup based on the events of the 1st book. I don't really know what the 3rd one is about. I'm not going to look because I haven't finished that 2nd one yet, but I would like to get to the 3rd one in April, so that's what we'll do. And this one, for the Magical Readathon, for Artificery, we are doing Clockwork Mechanics, and the idea was that you need to check the time and read a title with the length to match, so either the number of characters or the number of words. I watched the Magical Readathon announcement at 4 p.m. Oh, and as it would happen, it's currently 4:23. So a book with 4 words is The Kingdom of Gods. So that's that Magical Readathon prompt complete. So now I just have 1 more TBR machine slot to fill, and also 3 more Magical Readathon prompts, but 2 of them I have a plan for. So the only one we really need to match this TBR machine prompt with a Magical Readathon prompt for is the color wheel one, where I got the color purple. So let's get the prompt and see if we can come up with a purple book to match the prompt. Did I also say that color wheel prompt was for Astronomy, where we're studying lightfall? The final prompt is, I actually got read a graphic novel. One way that I was considering trying to fill this prompt was by reading another volume of Witch Hat Atelier. Oh wait, no, I thought of something better because I haven't really been enjoying Witch Hat Atelier, and also I'm looking, the next book with purple on the cover is like 5 ahead of where I'm up to. However, something I have been reading and loving is The Cursed Princess Club. Now admittedly, the purple on that color wheel was a darker purple and this is a lighter purple, but like, I don't care. So I'm going to continue my Cursed Princess Club reread, and I know I will have so many happy times with this. This is a series about these 3 pastel princesses who are betrothed to the 3 plaid princes. I have the first book here. So these 3 princesses are betrothed to the 3 plaid princes, but as you can see, the 3rd princess doesn't kind of meet your typical princess beauty standards, and when the 3rd prince discovers that he's betrothed to her, he calls her ugly. She runs out into the forest where she meets up with the Cursed Princess Club, and things kind of go from there. It's very hilarious, very funny, but also really wholesome and full of good lessons, and really smart the way that everything comes together. I've already read this, but I'm going to continue volume 2, and I know I'm going to love it. So that's perfect. What that does mean though is that that wasn't my last prompt, because I still have 1 more slot on my TBR to fill. I have just thought of something else I might like to put in there though. Let's see what prompt we get. Okay, I got read a book that has won an award. The book that I want to pick for this has only come out recently, but like, it's going to win some awards. It's been getting so many rave reviews. It's doing so many cool things. It will win some kind of award. I am confident. So I'm just going to like predict the future and say that's what's going to happen, because what I wanted to read for Law, where we're doing the Song of Ages, and you need to read a book with a musical term in the title, I wanted to read The River Has Roots by Amal El-Murtar. Now I have ordered the physical copy of this, and I was hoping to like do some kind of immersion reading with this, because I've heard that it has music involved in the story, and that there's singing in the audiobook. And so I want to listen to the audiobook, but also it's all around, like, the magic is somehow kind of grammar based. So I also want to read it physically. So I thought, why not just do both? However, my physical copy hasn't arrived yet, so we'll have to see. So for now, I'll put it in the audiobook slot, but it is also a short audiobook. So if the physical book arrives, I'll do some kind of immersion reading with it. As far as the Magical Readathon prompt goes, root, you can have a root note in a scale. So that is a musical term, as well as the book being musical. So I think it's perfect for the prompt. So then, for the Magical Readathon, we just have one more prompt that I need to fill. And that is the one, what class is it? Elemental Studies, where we're studying earth, fruits, and the idea is you need to read a book with fruit on the cover, which is actually very hard to find. But I went through my bookshelf and I found this. It's a children's book, but there is a parrot up here with fruit on its head, so it counts. And also, this is a book I bought a while ago. I really love The 11th Hour by the same author. This is an amazing kind of, like, a cute story, but full of, like, secret little messages and puzzles. And this one is kind of meant to be the same, I think. At the end of the book, there's like a little secret door and some kind of things where if I turn them to the right place, then I'll be able to pull this down and read the secret message or something. I don't know. When I bought this, I was so excited about it. And at the time I was working and stressed, and it was too hard for me, like, for my stressed brain, so I put it aside. I'm hoping that I'm less stressed now, that I will be able to solve a children's book. Let's hope so, because this will be perfect for that prompt. And I've had this sitting aside for a while now, so I'm excited to get to it. Okay, so this is going to be my TBR for the month of April, although there's a couple of audiobooks I'm hoping to read that I don't have here, and a couple of these I am planning to read via audiobook. But there's also lots of books in here that I'm super excited about, and 5-star predictions. So hopefully the month of April will be a really great reading month, because it is also my birthday month. So I'm hoping it'll be a big success all around. Let me know what you're planning to read in April, and if you're doing the Magical Readathon. And also let me know if you've read any of these books, whether you think I'm going to like them or not. I will, of course, do a wrap-up at the end of the month, so you can check back then to see my thoughts about them. Do subscribe if you'd like to see more of my bookish videos. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.